Howdy folks, my name is Drew Williams and this is my first shave video. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Texas, but now I live in western Wisconsin. Now I've been wet shaving for about 7 years or so, and with this first video what I'm going to try to do is try to replicate as best as I can the setup that I had for my first ever shave video. So a little bit how I got into wet shaving was I worked in television news for like 15 years, and for the first like 9 or so was behind the camera. Then I became a meteorologist. I got a degree in atmospheric science and I became an on-air television meteorologist. In fact, if anybody in the western Wisconsin area stumbles across this video, they're likely going to recognize me from when I was on air as a television weather guy.
Starting off pretty cool tomorrow with those cloudy skies. A front passing through overnight will bring those temperatures down. And
but the reason I kind of got into wet shaving is probably the same reason with a lot of you guys. I used to only have to shave like once a week. I'd let it grow out pretty long or whatever, kind of what I've got right now. And but then I had to start shaving every day because I was on air. And I was tired of shelling out, you know, like $6 or whatever for a cartridge for any of those cartridge razors. And I actually saw that kind of made for TV thing with Rick from Pawn Stars. You remember that guy?
So why in the heck did the big razor companies start adding more and more blades? So they could charge you more and more money. Trust me, you only need one blade. That's why I used the new MicroTouch 1.
And it just talked about how you could save a bunch of money. Now I didn't buy that one particular, but at least that got, you know, planted the seed for wet shaving. And I ended up going to westcoastshaving.com, and that's where I bought all my products. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to try as best as I can to kind of replicate that. Proraso, this is the blue, or is it white? I don't know, either one. This is like the first Proraso is what I first started using. That first shipment that I got from West Coast Shaving included Proraso, and it's always kind of been my go-to. So the way that I apply it, you know, I didn't even actually start bowl lathering until like a few months ago. I did this for like 6.5 years and didn't bowl lather. But I used to put it like directly on my brush. Now what I kind of do is I kind of like applying, I've never used an Arco stick, but you know how you kind of rub it on your face? That's what I'm kind of essentially doing here. Try not to drop any, but put a little on my face, just a few dabs of it, and then I'm going to face lather, because that's, again, how I started. So I was using Proraso. I think it was actually red or green. I can't remember. I feel like I bought all three. But this one is kind of my favorite that I use. The blue, is it blue or white? I can't remember. I know that one has a blue top, the one I have here. So my first ever brush was the Semogue 1800. Got it right here. And yeah, this, again, was the first brush that I bought. It's still my favorite brush. I still love this brush. I own, you know, just like you guys, I own several brushes, several razors. But this is hands down my favorite one. A Boar brush, like $20 maybe. I guess I kind of thought to myself, you know, I didn't want to get like the cheapest brush, but I didn't want to get a super expensive one either. This is what I went with, and I still use it. It's great. I love it. So yeah, television meteorologist. Did that for like 6 years. I got out of the business because now I'm married, happily married. I have a 2-year-old daughter, lovely little girl, and another kid on the way in October. And the hours that a television meteorologist works don't really work the best for family life. So I got out. I have kind of a corporate job now. I work for a company that provides continuing education credits for doctors, nurses, psychologists, therapists, counselors, you name it. They always have to get their licenses renewed every couple of years. And I work for a company that provides seminars. We used to provide in-person seminars. Now everything is online, obviously, because of coronavirus. But with my television experience, you know, I wanted to start some shaving videos. And I've actually been putting YouTube videos out there for a while of cereal critique. I review cereals. I'm not even a huge cereal fan, but I just kind of got roped into it, and I do a lot of cereal reviews. This is the very first razor. This is the one I bought from, again, that very first order from West Coast Shaving, and it is the Merkur 1904/1906. Now the one I got is it's got the bar, it's got the safety bar. It's not open comb. At the time I was a little too nervous. I had done some research and saw that open comb can be more aggressive. I was a little afraid at the time to make the jump into something aggressive when I hadn't even really tried it yet. But anyways, this is the very first razor. It's still my absolute favorite razor. I use it all the time. Anytime I'm trying a new blade or something, I always first try it in this razor because it's hands down still my favorite razor. And it wasn't super expensive. I think I paid like 30 bucks or something like that for it. But I love this razor. Like I said, I have about 10 now, I think, or so, but still, this is my number one. And then I don't remember the first blade I used, but I did get like a sample pack from West Coast Shaving. My favorite blade by far that from that pack and what I buy bulk of is the Treat Platinum. But this Shark here, this was in that first sample pack. So the Shark blade that I'm going to use was at least in that sample pack. May not have been the first blade I used, but at least it was used within the first few shaves. So go ahead and wet the blade here and get started. How are all of you guys doing? Again, this is my first video. Hopefully, my plan is to try to get one a week to you guys. I don't shave every day anymore because I don't have to. It is a corporate job, but it's very laid back. I don't have to wear a suit and tie like I did as a meteorologist. Still have all my suits and ties, so if I ever have to be in a wedding or unfortunately a funeral, I'm set to go. Oh yeah, that's coming off nicely. You just learn a razor, you know? So I've used this hundreds of times now. I could do it blindfolded, as a lot of you guys are doing. Blindfolded shaves, candlelight shaves. I know there's a lot of outdoor shave videos. Since I live in western Wisconsin, I think any of my outdoor shave videos will likely be around now since it's July. It gets a little cold here. That was a huge adjustment for me when I moved from Texas to Wisconsin. Actually, I lived in Arkansas. I lived in Texas, then Arkansas, and then Wisconsin. Before moving here, I had never seen a frozen lake. I didn't think they were actually real. I take it back. I knew they were real, but I didn't ever think I would see one. And I had never experienced sub-zero temperatures. And that first winter that I lived here, we got plenty of that. The coldest it's been since I've lived here was about 33 degrees below zero. The wind chill was in the 60s below zero. It was miserable. I left the TV biz about 9 months ago. And I've grown my hair out. Not since then. This has just kind of been since you couldn't get a haircut for a while. I used to have super long hair. I could grab it behind my back. That was during my punk rock days in college, you know. But I've kind of taken this opportunity to grow my hair back out. I'm not going to let it get that long. My wife won't let me. But a lot's changed. It's funny, I got into wet shaving to save money, and then, you know, like I mentioned, I've got 10 razors, hundreds of blades. I have a few soaps, not a ton of soaps actually, and then only a few aftershaves. I tend to splurge more on hardware than software. I have 5 brushes, all of which you'll see in the future. Okay. I only do 2 passes. I never do more than 2 passes. So there's one down. I've got 1 to go. What else can I say? Ooh, other hobbies. I play the banjo. I play the guitar. a little bit. And I'm not really that good at either. I love to golf. I've got a motorcycle. I don't ride as much as I used to now that I've got a wife and kids. I don't get out on that as much. Still ride a bicycle quite a bit. Golf, did I say golf? Yeah, I like to grill. I grill a ton. In the summers, I grill like 4 times a week. I also have a streak going where I have grilled at least once a month outside, at least once a month, every single month for like 5 years now. And that includes December, January, and February in western Wisconsin. Again, extremely cold. I've grilled in as low as like 8 or 10 degrees below zero. So that's always fun. Charcoal, I'm a charcoal man. Any of you guys grill? I love to smoke stuff. I've got like a Weber kettle, and I love to smoke like a pork butt or a brisket on it. It's great. What I also like about wet shaving, getting back to wet shaving, is the community. There's forums, Facebook groups, YouTube. There's a million YouTubers out there. And you can learn stuff. It's just a supportive community. Something to get us through these tough times. I toyed, or I wanted to pick a cool YouTuber name for these shave videos, because I'm doing a channel that's dedicated just to these videos. Went with Whisker Assassin. What do you think about that? The Whisker Assassin. I didn't nick myself, but I got this little spot right here that's kind of been bothering me. Each time I shave, I hit it. See it there? But again, that's just because it's a spot that I keep hitting and kind of keep opening up. Otherwise, this razor's flawless. And again, it took time. The first few times I used this, I cut myself or nicked myself. You know, didn't get the greatest shave out of it. But now, it just takes time. You get used to it. It's like with anything. It's like with any hobby. Like I mentioned, I play golf. I sucked the first 100 times I played. I'm not great now, but I'm decent. I once read somewhere it takes 10,000 hours of doing something before you can master it. That's a lot. So that means the only person that mastered wet shaving was your grandpa, and it wasn't until he was old. I've dabbled in the shavette. I don't own any like true single edge straight razors. I don't know. It takes practice. I get it. I haven't dedicated myself. I own a couple just of the shavettes. I can make it through like a shave where I get most of my face without nicking myself or cutting myself, but I don't know. I just prefer the safety razor. The only other thing, I'm going to get this little area right here, these little spots. I used to connect these, but then lately I've tried to kind of do my mustache out a little bit like that. And so I unconnected, I shaved right here and here. So I've got to connect those two spots. Or excuse me, shave in between those two spots. So I'll do that real quick. Okay. looks pretty good. Just except for that one spot. I've got a little septic pencil. What is it called? Is it septic? Septic? I don't know. I'm not saying it right, but you know what I'm talking about. I'll hit that. Yeah, I mentioned that I've been doing this. Gosh, it's bleeding pretty bad. There we go. That'll take care of it. I mentioned I've been doing this now for, I guess, almost 7 years, or about 7 years. And still learning stuff. I had never bowl lathered till just a few months ago. I've never used an alum block, and I just ordered one online the other day. In fact, I'll probably use it for my next video. Shave number 2. Let me clean up my face here. So Whisker Assassin. I hope I don't sound too pretentious. I just thought it was a cool name. My YouTube alias. My cereal channel. I'll put a link to that in the description. And y'all can check out my cereal videos, cereal reviews. I don't have a cool alias for that one. Bring out my towel here. I don't use cold water to finish off. Warm water. It doesn't have to be like hot, but you know, warm water. And here's my aftershave, the Nivea, maximum hydration post shave balm. This stuff I actually used before I did like wet shaving. I used to use a cartridge razor. And this is the same stuff I used for that. And I still use it. I use other things, obviously. But this was definitely the first wet shave, aftershave treatment that I used. And I still use it. It's great stuff. I like it because you can pick it up at any, grocery store, drugstore. It's cheap. The glass bottle, though, I know I've definitely dropped and broken a few glass bottles. But the wife really likes the scent. She's not a big fan of like Clubman or even Old Spice. She's like, why do you want to smell like a grandpa? But she doesn't hate them. But she likes this. It's a clean scent, Okay, folks, there you go. That's my first shave. Obviously, if you would like and subscribe to this channel and this video. I'm going to try to post a whole lot more of these. Hope I didn't bore you to death too much, and I look forward to spending more of my shaves with you.